Free to Be podcast. My name's Rachel Peru. Join me as I share a weekly dose of midlife inspiration, where you get to hear from some amazing people who are leaving a trail of inspiration along the way, breaking down midlife stereotypes and proving it's never too late to find your passion and purpose. From health, happiness, mindset to menopause, reinvention to rebelling, no subject is off limits. Living a life of liberty, free to be. Free to be whatever you want to be in midlife and beyond. So welcome back to what is the first episode of my newly branded Liberté Free to Be podcast. And I'm so excited about this new branding. It feels right for me. Some of you might still be asking why I changed from Out of the Bubble. I started Out of the Bubble in 2018, which was very much me stepping out of my own bubble, me stepping out of my own comfort zone, as well as encouraging you listeners to do the same. But actually, I've evolved too. I'm now in my 50s, and I really have got to this place where I feel like midlife now for women particularly is about a space where we can just be exactly who we want to be. Liberty, freedom to just be how we are and show up as our authentic selves. So that's why the podcast name has changed. Not everybody wants to step out of their comfort zones on a continuous basis, and that is still as valid as somebody that really wants to push themselves and do different challenges. So there's a space here for you all. Liberty, free to be, to show up authentically as yourselves. So I am looking forward to introducing my first guest, and I couldn't think of a better to introduce for my first episode back. Today we are talking to Rants and Big Pants. We've got Neen and DB joining us, and if you haven't already discovered them on social media, then please go check them out. Where have you been? Because these two women are fabulous together. A friendship of nearly 20 years that has really naturally progressed into this social media community that they've really built and nourished, aimed at women over 40, showing up, women that we can relate to, conversations that we can relate to. No subject is off the agenda, and they are just a force to be reckoned with when they're together. So I am looking forward to sharing their conversation. They're fun, they're bubbly, and they're Rants and Big Pants. So as I said in the introduction, if you haven't already met these ladies, you need to go and check them out on social media. And I am so excited that we all have this conversation together. So welcome Rants and Big Pants to the new Liberty Free to Be podcast.
Thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely. Hello there. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's just so nice because we see each other on social media so much, but to have a proper conversation, I'm really excited for this one. So thank you very much for your time.
Not at all.
My first question, because people, if they haven't been watching Rants and Big Pants, well, they've been doing, but if they don't know about you,
living under a rock.
Yeah, exactly. But if they haven't heard about you, how would you describe Rants and Big Pants to people? What's it all about?
The first two words that spring to mind is loud and chaotic most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's a good
it's a happy place to be.
Do you know, it's also brands, when they all work with us, they'll say, what's your niche? We don't have a niche.
And we're quite happy with that.
Yeah, and they said, you must, what is it you generally do? Well, we don't. We just talk to women that are kind of 40, 45 plus. That is us. Whether that be, obviously I covered Alzheimer's with my dad. We do fashion, we do beauty, we do menopause. We do
me shouting at the screen.
Absolutely, yeah. So our niche is talking to 40 plus women.
Yeah. And just being
yourself,
who we are on a day-to-day basis.
And I think you can vouch for that, Rachel. We're very authentically ourselves.
Yeah. And I think that's what draws me to you, because we can have these open conversations where you're happy to talk about everything and you're just showing up as you, which is really refreshing, and it's lovely to have that, because we need it. We need to see that authenticity to relate to.
What as well, I think I personally couldn't do anything else. I'd be exhausted. I worked.
She's got like 30 jobs.
I worked for a woman for years, and people used to say to me, play the game, just play the game. And I say to them, I can't play the game. I find the game too tiring.
She was bad at it.
I'm really bad at playing a game. I cannot be anything other than me.
And I love that. That's brilliant. And out of the who's who, so Neens, DB, who's Rants, who's Big Pants?
So I'm Neens, and basically my name is Nina. But when we met through work. Everyone just called me Neens. And you are
And I'm DB.
a pain in the ass.
Oh, right back at you. Yeah. So she is the Big Pants, although I also wear big pants. And I'm the Rants because I do get a little bit ranty.
But we call her DB because
Yeah.
her name is Tash, but the initials of her surname is double-barreled, so it's DB. So she's always been DB. So
Yeah.
to go on as Tash, it just didn't feel
No.
right. And it's just like Neens and DB. But it's so funny because we get lots of messages going, hi
Deb.
Neens, how's Deb? And it's, I think they think
Oh,
I,
Deb.
I think they think I miss the E out every single time.
You know, I hate my name, and I've always hated my name. I was always that person that wanted something different. So when I got the moniker of DB, that worked for me on every level because I just hated what I had.
Isn't it funny?
So when you were younger then, did you make up a name? What would you have been preferred to be called? Because I used to call myself Raquel.
See, my sister will tell you something completely different. My sister will say to you, no, when Tash was about 12, she wanted everybody to call her Montana. I did, right? but nobody listened to that. But I remember being a little girl and saying to my mum, I hate my name. And she was like, well, you know what? That's the name you've got. And I used to have an Aunt Kit who I absolutely loved. And I used to say to my mum, I want to be called Kitty. Because if you call me Kitty, then one day I will be somebody. And my mum used to say, you can call yourself what you like, but your name's Natasha, so just deal with it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but so now that's why I have Kitty.
Right. So interestingly, I've always known she's wanted the name Kitty.
Yeah.
DB has got a book coming out next month, which it's a bit of a steamy romance book. But so
My
your
author
author name
name
is Kitty DB.
DB.
Brilliant.
I didn't realise it was from an Auntie Kit.
Yeah,
I just
my
thought you
Auntie
loved
Kit.
it. Yeah.
Love that.
Steamy romance. If
Steamy
you're into
romance.
that, yeah, you might want to read it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about my mum reading it.
Yeah, no, fair play.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not like, you know, like explicit all the way through, but there are scenes that are like that, and that makes me cringe a little bit. My toes turn up when I think about my mum reading it.
Yeah, any
my
kind
mum's quite cool, but just I still cringe.
any kind of pornography when your parents are involved, it's just not right.
No.
It's kind of and it's kind of worse than walking in on your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh no.
It's just wrong.
Yeah.
Just wrong on every level.
It just happened to me as well.
Oh,
Oh
no.
no. Oh no.
Hey, do you want- we'll talk about that on your OnlyFans page.
I must admit, I don't allow my son to follow me on social media because he does not need to see his mum in lingerie and bra and knickers. It's too much, step too far.
And you know
Yeah.
what? Again, the choice is his, but you're his mum, and he probably
Yeah.
doesn't want to see that.
No, sure he doesn't.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
I had a friend who sent a message a couple of months ago, and she said to me that her son had just come downstairs and said, oh my God, Mum, I've just seen Tash on TikTok. And I was straight away, I thought, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
And she was like, straight away, I said to him, has she got clothes on? And I'm not the one that brags around in my bra and pants.
Yeah.
But I said, look, I'm never not fully dressed, but I might be a bit sweary. So, you know, you have to bear that in mind.
Deal with it.
It's never bothered me though. I don't know about the same with you, Rachel. Does it bother you parading around in bra and knickers?
Not at all. I find that the easiest bit. I recently did this talk, my first like proper keynote speech, and I did the whole thing in my bra and knickers. And to me, that was the easiest part of it. It was getting the words out and making sure my message was all right. And everyone was saying, "Oh, aren't you brave?" And I was thinking, "Well, no, that's a doddle to me. It doesn't bother me."
Quite ironic when they talk about, you know, view your audience as naked when you're already half naked.
But it's fun to see things like that haven't bothered me, and I think probably because I was in entertainment for years, so I used to get change, quick backstage changes. Everyone used to see everything.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't faze me, and
that's real. You know, I don't look at it like, you know, it's because you have an entertainment background or you know you're like you are. But I think it's about owning who you are and not going, do you know what? I don't conform to any stereotype, but I'm quite happy in who I am. What you think, you can't control that, what other people think, as long as you're happy in who you are.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
That is a massive part of it, isn't it?
Yeah. But don't you think that comes with age though? Don't you feel more like that than you did in your... I didn't feel like that in my 20s and 30s. I spent all my time worrying about what people thought of me, whereas now...
Yeah. Do you know, I think I've been quite lucky. Was I bothered about what people thought? Honestly, no, not necessarily. But was I dictated to by management and production companies and things like that? Yes, I was. So I tried to lose weight because I had to conform to what, you know, the pop world was and everything like that. So I was always seen as the chubby one, always. So I still am seen as the chubby one, but I am okay with that. And yes, would I like to be a dress size smaller? And I always say this, yeah, I would, but I don't hate myself. I don't dislike myself. And until I get there, I'm not gonna dislike myself, you know, and the truth be known, my love of food by far outweighs my love of losing weight. And that's very, as long as I'm healthy.
Yeah. Exactly. I feel exactly the same. I'm bigger now. I'm a size 16. I'm bigger now than I ever have been, but I'm much more comfortable in my body. And if I probably could lose a few pounds, but it's not my priority, whereas it was for a long time.
No, my priority is going for the meal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My priority is not hearing my tummy rumble.
Yeah.
That's my priority in life.
Yeah. And it seems to me that you two work so well because you are very different, aren't you? Personality-wise. You are kind of chalk and cheese in some ways.
We are. There are values that we share that I think is the thing that bonds us. But actually, you're quite right. The thing that really bonds us is that we look at life very, very differently. And we've always, even before Rants, we've always kind of celebrated that. You know, to pick up an example, because a lot of people who know us know this about us. Nina is a really big Disney person, you know, and she had a little girl, so she could explore that Disney stuff. I find Disney absolutely abhorrent. I cannot bear it. It makes me want to gnaw my arm off.
Oh.
But we used to fall out, not fall out, but that was the one.
Would argue.
Yeah, and I go, but you got two sons. You are depriving them of Disney. And Christmas, I used to do videos from Santa to her boys because she's not a Christmas fan.
Oh, that used to make me want to just.
So I'd be like, "Come on, boys, come here. You got a Father Christmas."
Christmas, and I'd be sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, why are you lying to my kids?"
Yeah.
But you know, you get what you need. So Nina and her Disney got a little girl, and I got two little boys, and so I get action superheroes, which I love, and she got dressy up fairy princess and Mickey Mouse.
I'm not a particularly girly girl.
No, you're not.
But I think as well, we
love
make
the dream.
Yeah, I do. We make each other stronger as well with our opposites.
Yes.
So I give her more confidence, and she makes me she shuts me up, but also she makes me more, I think, resilient. You know, I do wear my heart on my sleeve, and I think even this morning we had a conversation, and you said to me, "You're thinking people are thinking like you, and they're not." You know, and it was something that I was like, "Oh, I'm surprised they didn't come back. Just a little thank you." And she's like, "Darling, not everyone's like you," and I still have to remind myself. So I live in a bubble, but that bubble's bloody great. You're all welcome anytime. But Phoebe just makes that bubble a little bit more streetwise.
I love that.
You know, but I do make her more confident.
Yeah.
In other ways, don't I?
Yeah,
self-confidence.
Yeah, and I think it is just a case of, you inside you, when you don't. My confidence is raised. My self-esteem is always pretty low, and Nina has had a massive, massive impact on that. And just that kind of, mate, don't worry, just do it. You don't have to worry about anything else. And you know what? If it goes wrong, I will be here, and I will make sure that everything's okay. And there's a great strength in that. There's a great to know that you have somebody, and I think this works for both of us. No matter what, I'll have her back and she'll have mine. We might not always agree with what's going on at that time. We may go, roll our eyes and go, "Oh, I can't believe that you've done this." But that doesn't change the fact that we have each other's back. But I think the key to, and we were talking about this the other week, we never not laugh. When we're together, we never not laugh.
Even literally, I mean, we really take the pee out of each other. Seriously. Like literally, I had this mug before and there was lipstick around her and I went, how is there lipstick on the handle? And she went, well, the clue is in the colour. It's the same colour lipstick on the handle. And I went, yeah, no, she went, you've got a big mouth. That's it. You've just got a big mouth. And she went, that's what we're gifted with. And I was absolutely peeing myself in the corner. It's like, yeah, fair play. But we are each other's cheerleader, Rachel.
Yeah, exactly. It's that, I was just going to say, that is the true essence of women supporting women, isn't it?
But you know, and I think that's what we bring to Rants and Big Pants. We genuinely want to lift women, and that's why we set out to do this, because
we wanted to give other people what we have in each other.
Yes.
Yeah, and even if and you know, the communities that, like, you know, we will talk about the Weekender, I'm sure, at some point, but that community of women that we brought together last year, you know, 50 women, are now mates. They meet up, we have a group,
it's so nice.
They discuss stuff, they you know, from anxiety to what bloody tenor lady is the best,
to
or
whether they're just having a crap day or a great day.
You know, and that's what we always set out to do.
Because when we have a crap day, we will get on the phone and go, I'm not feeling it today. It's, you know, it's not happening today. Today's not working for me. And we will get each other out of that. Equally, we speak every day.
We speak all the time. Have you noticed you've not got any questions in yet?
I don't. I'm loving it.
I mean, this is it. This is why I sometimes think to myself, this is why we have each other, because we would probably drive other people together.
How did you meet? How did you meet then? Because you've been friends for nearly 20 years, haven't you?
Yeah, we have 20 years this year. So I went for a little part-time job. So I was singing up and down the country, all over the place. And I thought, I need some stability. I want a little part-time job. So I went to an agency. They got me this interview. Went to the office and met the finance director, a lady called Sue, who's fab. And she took us around. She went, right, you can start tomorrow if you want. I went, all right. And she said to you, you will either love her or hate her.
And was it love at first sight, or was it?
It was. It really was. And that was at Benefit Cosmetics head office. So we both worked there for 20 years. DB's still there full time. I just left a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
To do a bit more rants, because we are getting busier.
Yeah. And really exciting.
Yeah. Well, the thing is as well, they've just launched a skincare sort of brand. So they obviously just want me to talk about that. I can't do that again. So I've had to give up the job to keep it real. So we've agreed that she won't do beauty, because obviously, you know, we can't both take an income, because it's not making enough. I mean, it's not making enough for me, but but you know,
hopefully it will. But it's really brave though, and I love that. I think the fact that, you know, you've just written your book as well, it's really brave to put yourself out there, isn't it? And it's scary as well.
Well, this book,
do you know what?
It's
been a long time.
It's been about 4 years in the making.
And
because of her imposter syndrome,
which I didn't even recognise. So this is one of the things that I personally got from our Weekender last year. We had a girl there, Emma, really, really lovely. She spoke about imposter syndrome, and don't get me wrong, you know, I'd heard of it, I understood what it meant, I just didn't necessarily attribute it to me. And I sat there listening to Emma, and I was absolutely bloody transfixed, because everything she said resonated with me, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is why I feel like I feel. And for me, it gave me a real paralysis of not being able to move forward with, I'd written the book. The book has been finished for probably 2.5 years in its draft form, but it wasn't moving forward at this point. And I, you know, if somebody asked me about it, I think, oh God, don't ask me about it, because that puts me on the spot. And now I have to say, oh my God, we haven't moved forward really.
So I would continuously ask.
And we had this conversation last September, October, didn't we? And she went to me, is it helpful? Is it helpful that I say, where are we with the book? And I'm like, yes, you have to say that, because if you don't, I will continue to just keep being stuck in this place. So she'd say things to me like, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you need to do. This book is getting released. You understand that, right? And I'd be like, yeah, no, I know. And now we're at probably in the next 4 weeks. And now I'm like chomping at the bit because actually I recognise the imposter syndrome. I accept that is really part of my personality.
Yeah.
And we can move forward with it. And that's fine. But then that whole, what you said about cheerleader before, do I really have to worry about doing the things that I'm uncomfortable with? No, I don't, because I've got her.
Yeah.
And she'll shout from the rooftops.
Yeah.
But vice versa. Yeah. And we are really lucky to have that.
Yeah, I think everybody needs some of that in their lives.
Yeah,
and for you making this decision to leave work and focus more on that, that's really brave. But then
my hands were kind of tied as well, Rachel, I think, because you know, they were like, look, we only want you to talk about our skincare. And I said, look, I can't do that because my followers, you know, our community, I've always said we will keep it real.
Yeah.
So we made the decision. I said, right, you stay full time, I'm off. Because
it's brave, you know, and I think she has to recognise that we were actually talking about this earlier. As women in our 50s, it's really hard to give up something that is giving you security, that you know, and when you know, this is why a lot of women of our age stay where they are. You know, they might have spent years building up to a certain salary. They may be fearful of going to another culture. You know, how am I going to fit into that? Am I going to be seen as the old girl versus, you know, in the sea of young women or men, you know? And so it is brave. And I think she had to recognise that although she felt that she was given no choice and she had to make a decision, which she did, and would stand by that. Even so, it doesn't detract from the fact that actually it was a brave thing to do.
Yeah, it would have been easy not to, put it that way.
Really easy.
Yeah, but I need to stay true to what I've really put a lot of effort into.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people would have shied away from that.
And Rants was also born really because you know, it would have happened years ago, but my daughter was too young and I couldn't give the time to get back to people. Rachel, God, you know, community management alone takes long,
it's a full-time job.
So I went to my boss at the time and just said, look, I need more from work. I just want more. And she said to me, if you want more, you're going to have to do it in your own time. So I said, okay. And that's how Rants Big Pants was actually born. And we sat down and we said, right, we need to actually share what we've got and keep it real.
And we were so clueless. We just...
Well, I had a bit of an advantage as in I had done social media for Benefit Cosmetics when it started out. I had run the Twitter account and everything. So I was quite fortunate. So I had that bit of background, but as to what to do and editing and stuff,
and it makes me not like before. And this is my part of my favourite thing about us. That when we first started out, we'd sit around my kitchen table and we had A4 pieces of paper with our logo stuck to my kitchen wall because at the time we had no clue how to,
put a logo on. You know, but we've come a long way since then. Right,
but isn't that part of the fun of it? Isn't that the journey's part of it? Isn't it? I think.
And I always say this to Nina. You know, sometimes when you go onto our YouTube channel and you see videos that are uploaded, most of those views are me. When I feel down, I go onto YouTube and watch our very first video because they just crack me up. And I love them.
They are funny. They are funny.
And have you always felt comfortable there? Because it's quite scary sometimes put yourself out on social media, especially when you start getting quite a lot of followers. I guess for you, Neens, it was easier because you have been in the entertainment industry, so you have been on stage and put yourself out there. But how difficult was it for you to kind of own what you're doing and be there so publicly?
It's a really fun thing. Nina always calls me one hit wonder on recording a video because I just do it in one hit. You know, and there's certain things about my personality that you would think it doesn't quite match. You know, she's very much the confident extrovert and I'm loud, but I'm an introvert at heart. But, you know, I would be quite happy. I'm quite happy to get up and public speaking. That doesn't faze me.
But I think
small talk, I can't do small talk.
But as well, she's talking about things that are true to her.
Like
if I say to her, but we get ads and I'll go, what about this? And she'll go, mate, no. Like no, you know, and sometimes, because I'm doing the sort of business side of it,
Yeah.
I obviously need to go to her and say, look, you know, what about this? And she'll be like, we're not doing that. And it's like, right, yeah, okay.
It's not who we are.
Because it won't flow. It
No.
won't flow, you know?
And the moment you step into something that isn't really you, is the moment that I think for us it would change everything, because you cannot sit there and say, look, we're just a couple of old birds from Essex, and then start, I don't know, advertising foie gras, which we would never touch in a million years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, we have to be true to ourselves, and I think that is what has really helped. So when we do talk about things, it's genuinely that we've tried it, or we've liked it, or we've found it, you know, and actually I quite like it, and you might quite like it.
It's a bit,
that's okay.
And it's a bit like playing that game. I said to you, I couldn't even play a game.
No.
With my boss in a job.
No,
so
yeah.
I'm not going to do it working for myself.
No.
Yeah.
So I find it more comfortable than you would think, purely because I'm not doing anything that I either don't believe in or like, or that resonates with us.
And we've been very lucky. I don't know if it's different, but I know 50 Sister, who I absolutely bloody love, Gail. She can get quite a bit of hate. We've been really lucky.
Yeah.
And this sounds really like, but I think because we are a little bit chubbier, you know, we're very,
we're a bit
relatable.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? And I think people go, oh, they champion that. I think other women kind of go, oh, go on, girl, brilliant.
Yeah.
Whereas when you get somebody, you know, like yourself, who's got an amazing hourglass figure, you're more toned, I think some women feel a little bit jealous.
It's interesting because Instagram, I've never had that. I've always had an amazing community. Facebook women. They're a different breed.
We do. And do you know what? I'm putting it out there, but it's men.
Yeah.
And it's generally, I am going to say this, it's very much Middle Eastern men. That come at us because, you know, I may be in a bra and knickers, and they're like, oh my God, you fat so-and-so and whatever. But honestly, and you've read, she's like, mate, how does this not rip you apart? No, it doesn't. I honestly think, how sad have you got to be sitting at home to produce that negativity and actually say it out loud on a keyboard? That's quite sad.
For me, it's women. It's American women for me. On Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. They have a different attitude to seeing women in one underwear and
but do you know what? It's been done for years, Rachel, by models.
Yeah.
But now you are a true everyday model. You know, if you want to do it, get up and do it. Get up and do it. Don't be jealous. Get up and do it. It's not so what you've created. You know, in the village, there's a couple of people that are a bit like, oh, what are you doing this week? And it's like, well, have a look. And it's like, oh, I don't really watch it. Well, clearly you do. Clearly you do. Because actually other people have come and told me, they're like, oh, Nina.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't do it. Anybody can do this. You are your own advertising platform, and it's up to you what you want to do. And people go, oh, I want to do it, but I'm so shy. Do it. Be shy, because there's people out there that want to do it that are shy, and they'll relate to you.
Yeah. And you don't have to be this big, bold personality, because you are very different. You have got that entertainment background, Teenies, and I can see that. But whereas DB, you're quietly confident. There's a difference, isn't there?
Yeah.
But they both work.
And do you know what? And I think I mean, I don't know, because I'm not the other side of the coin, but I do think that there's a bit of that resonates with a lot of people, especially our age, that, you know, they want to be more confident. They want to be the woman that they felt they used to be. And we're saying, do you know what? It's all right to turn up as you are. That you haven't got to explain that or justify it to anybody. And we used to, we'd always take sort of like dodgy photos, you know, like we'd get on FaceTime at first thing in the morning when we were both in bed. We don't do it anymore because she don't wake up early enough. But, you know, like she'd look like death and I would look like Donald Trump with, you know, a big comb over hair. And we did have a few comments like, you know, well, you wouldn't wake up with makeup on. And you're like, you would, because we're too lazy to take it off the night before. So if I've got mascara on, that doesn't mean that we've staged this. This means that we're just too lazy to take it off. And, you know, who would willingly go on a photo with Donald Trump's haircut? I mean, what's the with you? She wakes up looking like she's... through a tornado.
We always say we are founding members of the Scrub Up Welfare.
Yeah.
Because actually we do scrub up all right.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Sometimes we recognise ourselves.
So you both kind of you seem to be really positive people, really genuinely really happy positive people. What phases you? What really gets you go then?
Me, unkind people.
Mm.
I don't like and I don't like cruelty to people, you know, where so if somebody's less able than you are and you don't really look out for them, or I don't like that.
Mm.
That really, you know, I don't know if you've seen on stories, but I befriended a guy in our community called Alan, you know, bless him. He's got, I don't really know what he's got, but, you know, he's vulnerable, very, very vulnerable. So I just, you know, and he wants to be an entertainer, doesn't he? Bless his heart.
And do you know what? This is the bit that I think people don't really get about her. So with Alan in particular, I don't think many people would have continued to have this little relationship with them and take him out for breakfast and take him out for lunch and doing all these things. I think they might have done it as like a one hit to make themselves feel better, and then that's it. But she is like that. That is just her MO. I'm not like that. But mainly because I don't do the small talk and I'm not good at stuff like that. And I think that people think that it is not real, and it is. If anybody was going to meet Alan that night and take home so that he didn't have to get a bus because he was vulnerable, if anybody was going to do that, I can guarantee you it was going to be her.
Yeah.
Do you know what, though? I think as well, we have to remember here, I was a Butlins Redcoat for many years.
Yeah.
So that to me was my university of life.
Yeah.
I met all walks of life, and I made everybody's holiday, not just me, every Redcoat that you came into contact with, made anybody and everybody's holiday the best it could be.
Yeah.
And looked after people.
Yeah. You looked out for them, you made sure they had a great time, and, you know, so I have
That's
honestly,
just your MO, isn't it? That's
I remember my dad saying to me, when I left Butlins, I went to live in South London, and my dad said to me, "You are going to find this tough." And I was thinking, yeah, whatever. And I remember going out in South London, walking through the streets, going, "Morning, hi, good morning, how are you?" And people were like, and I thought, shit, I don't like this, because that's all I'd known for 12 years.
I bet they were like, "Oh, there's that weird one." Everybody
Avoid eye contact on the train.
Coming.
Yeah, I just love a bit of a community spirit, really. I just do.
Nothing.
So people that are unkind, sorry,
just
to come back to that, gets my go. What about you?
Nothing really gets my go. Circumstances get my go. So, like, you know, things like you know, when my boys were younger, and so I've got twins, and you know, I remember walking down the road, and I had a double buggy, and they're not easy to get in and out. And I spent my whole time going, "I'm sorry, trying to walk through." And not everybody, but some people are sort of like walk towards you and they wouldn't leave enough room. And it's like, well, do you really expect me to bump the whole thing into the road? So it's things like that. That's selfish.
Yeah, people being inconsiderate.
But and I am a bit of an idiot, really. You know, if there's anybody that's going to walk down the street and fall over, it's going to be me. You know, I will literally fall over my own feet.
You know, and I take that place when she's not around, but that's why I like being with her, because when we are together, she picks that up for me. Yeah. I look like the one that's not as clumsy.
You look like you've got your shit together. And you're walking a straight line.
This is a true story. This is in the early 90s. I was on Fleet Street, and there was a NatWest on Fleet Street, and there was a curb outside as you stepped out of the NatWest, and I swear it was like that big. It was like 3 inches high. I don't know what happened, but I remember I fell off that curb. I fell off that curb, and I body rolled into the gutter, and a taxi narrowly missed me. To this day, I don't know who did it. And that is me. That is me. And people I've been out with various people, and they'd be like, "What are you doing down there?" got no idea. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
I can so relate to that. That happened to me at the weekend. I was in Harrogate with my husband and I stupidly just fell off the curb thinking that no one had seen it, and Mark was like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing down there? I was like, nothing. just missed
Sorting
the
it
curb.
out.
It's not like I did it on purpose. I could have done my face and my hair.
Yeah.
What about you? What is something that, you know, upsets you?
Unkindness,
Yeah.
but people just not being considerate for other people's feelings and not thinking about stuff from another person's perspective. Just
Yeah.
that kind of narrow-minded, not taking
And
anybody
that
else
is
into
really-
consideration.
That's the joy and the heartache of social media, because
Yeah.
you don't have any control over that. I watched a girl this morning and I loved it. I wouldn't do it, but I loved it. And she was watching something on TikTok, and this person wrote, or a guy wrote something really bad about the person, and she was like, why would you do that? You know, that's just nasty. So she copy and pasted it, went onto his profile and just popped it in the comments. And then he flew for her and she was like, but you just said it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You don't know that had, you know, that was nothing to do
Love
with
that
you.
she did that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she's done it a few times now, and she was laughing about it. And I thought, do you know what? That is the thing. Because what you really hate is not so much the unkindness, it's you hate bullies.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets your goal. And so when you see somebody making a nasty comment or saying something, whether it's online or in person, your first thing is, oh, no, you don't.
Yeah, I will always champion.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even an underdog. I just
No,
will
it's not.
champion somebody.
Anybody that is levelled like that.
Yeah, just don't like nastiness and unkindness.
Right.
Yeah.
I recently, because I get on Facebook, if I share stuff, it is usually negative. Women, you're too old to wear that, put it away, we don't need to see it, all that kind of stuff. And normally it doesn't bother me, but recently I have started calling them out on it and doing posts about it.
Yes,
do
it.
Come on, ladies.
Let's put your tag us in.
Surely we're better than this.
Yeah. Do you know what? The other thing that I heard, and I was telling you the other week, I follow an author, and she just who got some negative feedback, and she just went back and just went, thank you so much for your comments. I wish you a lovely day. Because they've got no comeback from that, because you have taken the high position and I'm not going to engage with it, but they don't come back because they don't know what to say to that. They are going on there.
But I think they do deserve to be called out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think, because otherwise it's too easy, isn't it? It's too easy for them to just write something without thinking about.
Dolly Diary. When it was in lockdown, I did a diary for. When we were in lockdown, and I put it on my own social media, and Nina went, oh, let's put it on Rants. And I did like a funny diary in the day in the life of my dog, you know, because do you remember at the beginning, you know, you could only go out for a walk once a day.
Yeah.
So I did it all from her perspective. And as we were walking around the street one day, this cat came out of nowhere and tried to go for Dolly, and Dolly literally shit herself. Yeah, it was. And so I made up this story about, you know, Mum had to pick me up, and you know, she was about to kick this cat to the curb. Anyway, this woman came out, I've just lost my cat, you're heartless. Like, Jesus Christ. First of all, my dog can't write, okay? She can't. Okay.
It's not real.
I just made up, because she only understands, do you want dinner? Yeah. Do you want to go for a walk? Other than that, she doesn't even come to her name.
She did go at you.
Oh,
that's really funny. Sorry.
It's hilarious. You know, sorry, cat lovers, but you know,
it's not real. I wouldn't really pick a cat.
It's just circumstantial, isn't it? It's just
we were all a little bit caged in, and you know, it was just for a laugh.
Yeah.
And now, because now obviously the first few years of Rants Big Pants has been very much online and all virtual, and now you're going into kind of an open space where people can all come together and connect, and I'm really, that's just wonderful. So tell me about the big weekend that you've got planned.
Where do we start?
The last one was so.
We did one last year.
Yes, you did last year. It was on my birthday, so because I looked at it and thought, oh, I'd like that, but it was my birthday weekend, so I couldn't come. But I will look at it because it's the week before, isn't it?
Oh, honestly, it is just amazing. So we basically go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we just immerse people. Well, we were doing a list this morning, you know, of how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
You know, so it's empowering. I mean, you did a list, didn't you?
Yeah. And it's just the things that we know that we wanted to share with people, and how we wanted them to walk out on that Sunday feeling. And if last year was our tester, then I think that we had 100% success rate, because what those women got from it, they felt empowered in who they were. It did raise their confidence. They were with like-minded women, so they could be truly themselves. We had an absolute blast. I mean, it was a laugh a minute. I've never heard women, and we would have always worked in, you know, very female dominated arena, women laugh like that for so long, and to forge these instant relationships that they have gone on and continued. So it was a bit of a no-brainer to do it again this year.
It was very emotional, I think, for us as well, because it was something that we'd always wanted to do. So to actually, you know, and you know, at one stage I was like, mate, just stop. Like, we have done this. And we were giggling one minute, crying the next, like with emotion, thinking, shit, like we really have done this. So Friday, we can't tell you what, because we are keeping it under wraps. But on the Friday, people will arrive and there will be an absolute game-changing icebreaker. It's going to be incredible. And then on the Saturday, there will be lots of guest speakers from menopause, anxiety, exercise, nutrition, style. My goodness.
And us.
Yeah, obviously, and us. You know, coming together to educate these women in, you know, just to give them some more information on what they're needing. And again, people discuss their own situations, you know, during the coffee break and stuff, and you take that. Then on the Saturday, it's dinner, dancing, 70s and 80s, and live entertainment. I'll be gigging. So that'll be fun. And then
so Sunday she will have no voice, because this is what happened last year. We woke up on Sunday morning.
Well, we will have mics this year.
No.
And then on Sunday it's going to be all kind of beauty, makeup, skincare and self-care. So we've got Fiona Brackenbury, who's coming in to talk all about skincare. And we will obviously have goodie bags, etc., so people can get involved. And then we will be doing makeup, which they're on board. We're just kind of discussing the finals, but Harrods Beauty are taking that.
Oh, amazing. That's brilliant.
I know.
Oh, that's so really good. Well done.
I know. So pleased with that. And I think because a lot of brands are now going, oh, actually, midlife women have got income, almost disposable income.
And this is what she just
about
said,
time.
One of the things that we have never really understood, that, you know, when you get to our age, you know what works for you and you know what doesn't, but you have the means, and the most of the time, to be able to get what you want, what works for you. And we've never understood why brands continue to use, not because, you know, that 20-something girl, that's great for the 20-something consumer, but we are a massive force. Why aren't they using that 40, 50-something women to appeal to the 40, whose kids may have, you know, in the majority, not especially ours, we had our kids later, but, you know, the kids have left the nest. You're not paying out for this, that and the other in the same way that you used to. And they could really be getting their spending, and still they're not choosing to do it.
And it drives me mad. And actually, we're at an age where we can explore, and I want to try new makeup looks, and I've got more confidence now later in life. So I don't want to just stick to the same product. I want to explore stuff.
It is infuriating. So infuriating. Because again, we've both been in beauty for 20 years. We both worked, well, I worked for a brand, and I was a real massive advocate of getting women in there that were over 40, and it worked. And now we've got a much younger team in there, and listen, this is no fault of theirs. What do they have in common with a 52-year-old when they're 18 running a social media? They don't, but it's not their fault. But I just feel like they need to, you know, a lot
of the industry in general is missing a trick.
Oh, really?
Massively. you know, honestly, if I could go in and convince brands to, you know, use our age group as you, we'd be bloody multi-millionaires.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling you.
Well, so would they, though.
Yeah.
So
But the
would
irony is that it only seems to be that women of our age group, the only thing they propel them in is perfume.
Yeah.
So they'll use older models for perfume ads.
Yeah. I think people are getting a little bit better with skincare.
Yeah,
They
because
are.
they're recognising that actually we need specialists in skincare.
Yeah. And there are, you know, using Twiggy was great from Charlotte Tilbury.
Yeah.
Really you know, they used Twiggy, and I was like, hats off to you guys, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know she's a model, but you know, she's still in her 70s.
Yeah,
she's
she is
incredible. And yeah, that was such a delight to see. But there's so much more work to be done.
And the beauty world is so inclusive until you get to our age group.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter if you're
You know
blue,
what?
black, with pink spots.
Yeah,
They
it's
know
very
what you
true. It's almost ageist.
Yeah.
And it is, because I've been into London with some girlfriends for our Mother's Day weekend. We always go away every year. And part of the fun of that is going to department stores and trying on different makeup and stuff. And none of the makeup artists there, it's not their fault, it's just they don't train on older skin.
No.
So you always end up in my experience, I've always come out looking like, well, just something that I just would never dream of going out, like a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
It's just not me, because they're not taught how to do it on women our age.
No, and they're not. And again, that's what I'm saying. It's not their fault, is it?
No, it's not. No.
But what I think brands should be, you know, if ultimately they're appealing to a consumer that's older, the consumer will ultimately potentially want to work for that brand and give us more opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, and even if we are in our bloody 60s, you know, potentially women are working up to 70 now. That's another 10 years with a beauty brand. That's a long time when it comes to loyalty.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because
I'm really pleased that you've got Harrods on board. That's really exciting news.
Yeah, they have been amazing. And actually, to be fair, we've been talking to Cult Beauty as well. And I think of them as very much a younger brand. They're just online, etc. So it'd be interesting to see what they come up with.
So when's this weekend happening?
Yes,
How
so
can people buy
the
tickets?
12th to the 14th of May. We've got 24 spaces left. So there's 100 people. They will, like we say, come on the Friday, do a huge icebreaker that will be groundbreaking. Saturday will be all the inspirational talks, as will Sunday, which will be centered around beauty, skincare, and self-care. And then they go home, literally a new person.
Sounds amazing. Send me the link. I'll add it to the notes.
Yeah. What did you say then? Sorry.
Send me the link and I'll add it to the show notes as well.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, you know, we'd love anyone to come along, and you don't have to know us. You know, there are people coming that have seen it and gone, oh, can anyone come to this? Absolutely. You know, there's girls that are 39, 40, they came last year, and they're just saying, do you know what? Yeah, my periods have started to change. I want to know a bit more about menopause. And we get on brilliant with them.
And the thing is as well, I find that your friendship groups change as you get older, because you change. So actually it's a great opportunity to meet with like-minded people that you don't have to ditch the old friends, but there's nothing wrong with expanding the group.
The friends that we've made from this is truly unbelievable.
You know, there's something about this that there are friends that I've had in my life, or people used to say to me, you know what, get rid of toxic friends. And I always think, I don't have toxic friends. I don't, you know, the people in my life, you know, all good, quite happy with that, see them whenever, whatever. Since doing this, I realise how much I am meeting more my people.
Yes.
And then they're not toxic friends by any means, but actually I realise I don't have as much in common with you as I thought I did.
Yeah.
Because I've grown up.
Yeah. You've changed. You've evolved.
They're probably thinking, shit, I've got a text from Neens.
Yeah.
I've got to respond. You know.
Yeah, it works both ways, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about your background picture there? That's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
So this is the new logo. We can't see it now. So it's Liberté.
Oh, I love it.
Is that a white feather?
Yes. Yes, so it's a feather, white feather. I'm going to have a tattoo. I've always wanted a tattoo and never thought of what I could have. And then as soon as I saw my logo with that, I thought, right, that's what I'm going to have.
Oh, nice. I'm a big tattoo lover.
I'm a huge white feather fan.
Brilliant. There you go.
Love that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Why are you having a brand change, Rachel?
Back to being evolving. You know, I started the podcast when I was 2018 when I first started. And for me, it was me stepping out of my own little bubble that I'd been kind of surrounding myself by. and I wanted to encourage other women to do the same thing. But I have stepped out of that bubble now, and I'm free to be whatever I want to be, and I want to try and encourage other women to be the same. So it's part of my own kind of evolving and growing, and
I love that.
it's easy to stay in one place, isn't it? And think, oh, I can't change anything, but actually, no, I
It's a
can.
great place to be in, but it doesn't move you forward in any way.
No.
All those words.
Yes.
Oh, mate, I'm menopausal, mate. I've just forgotten what I said.
Write it down. Thank you so
You
much.
won't remember either.
No, I won't.
It's been a perfect way to roll on to my last question that I'm going to ask all my guests. So, Liberté, free to be. What does free to be mean to you?
To be myself always.
Yes.
That just came to me.
To show up for myself and in my own life.
Love it. I could have talked to you two for so long. Thank you so much for joining me.
We can do more episodes.
We can, yeah, definitely. I would quarterly check in, see what you're up to.
Hey, defo.
And good luck with the book. When does the book come out?
Well, we are hoping that we will get my author copies by mid-April.
Right. Not long. Well, good luck with it. Good luck with everything you're doing.
Who knows? Thank you. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
And how can people find you as well? How can people find you?
Yeah, that would help, wouldn't it? So basically, if you just put in Rants and Big Pants, all one word, on Instagram. We're also on Facebook, Rants and Big Pants, TikTok a little bit, and we have a website which you can subscribe to. Can't lie, we need to get a bit better with that.
Yeah, we do.
Work in progress.
Absolutely.
100%, you know it. So much to do.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, ladies. Love you lots, and it's just been brilliant. Thank you for joining me.
Lots of love, darling. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye, lovely.
Bye.
I absolutely loved that conversation with Rants and Big Pants. Neen and DB are a force to be reckoned with, and especially when they work together, you can see that they thrive off one another and they bounce off each other. And like they both said, they give each other different strengths. So it's all about pulling each other up and supporting one another. And they're a perfect example of women supporting women. And I really hope that you have somebody in your life that does the same for you. And if you haven't, then don't be scared later in life to go and search out a new tribe, because there are so many communities. Like Rants and Big Pants is such a great way to meet other women that you might click with, that completely you can relate to. And I think it's so important to have these cheerleaders in our back pockets. So loved this conversation. And how inspiring is it that, we've got DB who's publishing a book, and she's waited years to do this, and she's finally getting out there. Yes, it's scary putting yourself in a new arena. Yes, it's scary, but it doesn't mean to say that you should stop doing things. Don't let that fear hold you back. And this is a great example. So looking forward to that saucy book. Sounds interesting. I will share that with you once it's out live. I will be back next week, but in the meantime, what does free to be mean to you? I would love to know. That's one question I will be asking all my guests. So what does free to be mean to you? Please let me know, drop me a line, and I will be back next week with some more inspiration. Keep being fabulous. Thank you for listening to the Liberty Free to Be podcast. I hope it's left you feeling inspired. If it has, why not come and join my free Step Out of the Bubble Facebook group? It's a safe space where you can connect with other women, all at different stages of their midlife journey, supporting and inspiring one another. Oh, and don't forget to come and say hello on Instagram at RachelPeru1. I'd love to know what free to be means to you. If you're loving the podcast, please don't forget to subscribe, rate and review. Your support is much appreciated. I'll be back next week, but in the meantime, keep being fabulous.